Hello, this is Roger with Google. This recording is a getting started using Google Sheets on Microsoft Windows with the NVDA Screen Reader and the Firefox browser. In this recording, I will describe the major sections of Google Sheets, how to move between those sections, how to create and manipulate a spreadsheet, and how to get additional information. Let's get started. I've already navigated to drive.google.com, and now I want to create a new spreadsheet. There's a couple different ways you can do that. You can navigate to the New or the Create toolbar menu item, or you can also just type in uppercase S as in spreadsheet. That's what I'm going to do now.
About : blank, busy. About : blank. Untitled spreadsheet - Google Sheets busy. Working. You are online. This spreadsheet uses the new Google Sheets 1 sheet name Sheet 1. Section. Edit. Blank. Grouping.
I've already done the one-time setup to enable screen reader mode in Google Sheets. Therefore, I don't need to do it here. If you want to learn more about how to do the one-time setup, refer to the Getting Started Using Google Docs. Google Sheets consists of several major areas. The main area that you're going to be working is the grid area. A grid area is rows and columns of cells. The cells are where you enter content and look at content that's been previously entered in. In addition, there's an application menu, a top toolbar, and a main toolbar. To move around the grid area, you can use the arrow keys, page up, page down, and several other keystrokes. To illustrate, I'm going to press the down arrow a couple times.
A 2. A 3.
And what you heard is it announcing the cell coordinates. This spreadsheet is currently empty, therefore not very much is being verbalized. Now I'm going to do an up arrow to go back to cell A1.
A 2. A 1.
In this recording, we're going to create a spreadsheet called Orders and populate that with information. So the first thing we want to do is rename this spreadsheet from the current title to Orders. To learn the current title of this spreadsheet, press NVDA T as in tab title. I'm going to do so now.
Untitled spreadsheet - Google Sheets - Mozilla Firefox left parent private browsing right parent.
And here it said it was an untitled spreadsheet. To rename a spreadsheet, first open up the File menu with Alt-Shift-F as in File.
File submenu 1 of 10.
Arrow down until you get to the Rename menu item.
Share, S-Emil, 1 of 1. New, Hens-Emil, submenu 1 of 6. Open, Os-Emil, shortcut Control plus row 2 of 6. Rename, Ars-Emil, 3 of 6.
Press Enter to activate this menu item.
Rename spreadsheet dialog. Enter a new spreadsheet name : edit has autocomplete. Selected untitled spreadsheet.
Now I want to rename this to Orders.
So,
and then I'm going to press Enter to rename the spreadsheet.
Rotors. Menu bar. Section. Grouping.
I will confirm this by again pressing NVDA plus T as in tab title.
Orders - Google Sheets - Mozilla Firefox left parent private browsing right parent.
Now we want to go ahead and populate this spreadsheet. I'm going to do so by typing information into the cells. If the cell does not have any information or you want to completely override it, you simply just start typing. If a cell had information in it that you would want to edit, you would first press Enter to go into an edit mode, and then you can use your left and right arrow keys to review the content and backspace to make changes. I'm going to create a spreadsheet where column 1 is a description, column 2 is a quantity, column 3 is a unit price, and column 4 is total. Now I'm going to type description into cell A1. Once you've typed in the text that you want, you can enter it two different ways. You can press Enter to save it, in which case your focus will move to the cell just below yours, or you can use one of the arrow keys. In this case, I want to go to column 2, so I'm going to press the right arrow key.
Cell 1 set to description. B1. Section. Grouping.
Now I'm going to type in quantity and then press the right arrow key.
Cell B1 set to quantity. C1. Section. Grouping.
Now I'm going to type in unit price and then press the right arrow.
Unit. Cell C1 set to unit price. D1. Section. Grouping.
Now I'm going to type in total and then press Enter this time.
Total. Cell D1 set to total. D2. Section. Grouping.
Now I move back to the first column, so I'm going to press the left arrow key.
C2.
Again.
B2.
And again.
A 2.
Now I'll type in the first item that I want to be in this order. In this case, I want to type in TV and then press Enter.
Edit. V. Cell to set to TV. The 3. Section. Grouping.
At this point, my focus is on cell A3, and here I want to type in phone.
Edit.
Press Enter.
Home. Cell of 3 set to phone. The 4th. Section. Grouping.
I am now on the 4th row, and this time I want to type in tablet.
Left. Cell of 4 set to tablet. The 5. Section. Grouping.
Now I'm going to press the up arrow to review what we just typed in.
Tablet of 4.
Arrow again.
Phone of 3.
Arrow again.
TV of 2.
Arrow again.
Description of 1.
Now I'm going to do a right arrow to go to the quantity column.
Quantity V1.
Now I'm going to do a down arrow to the TV row.
V2.
I'm going to type in 1.
Edit submenu.
And
1.
then Enter.
Cell V2 set to 1. V3. Section. Grouping.
Now my focus is on the phone row. I'm going to type in 2.
Edit submenu. 2.
Then Enter.
Cell V3 set to 2. V4. Section. Grouping.
At this point, I should be on the row for the tablet, but I'm not quite sure. So let's check that by pressing the left arrow.
Tablet of 4.
Good. Now we're where we thought we were. Now let's press right arrow to go back to the quantity column.
V4.
Here, let's type in 3.
Edit submenu. Cell V4 set to 3. V5. Section. Grouping.
Now we want to enter in the unit price, so we'll arrow up to the top row.
3 V4. 2 V3. 1 V2. Quantity V1.
Right arrow to unit price column.
Unit price C1.
Down arrow.
C2.
And let's set the TV price to 500.
Edit. 0 0. Cell C2 set to 500. C3. Section. Grouping.
Now we should be on the phone row, but we're not quite sure. Instead of arrowing over, there is another keystroke you can use, which is Control-Alt-Shift-R to read the row header information. I'm going to do so now.
Phone of 3. 2B3. C3.
All right, now we are where we thought. And if you wanted to check the column information, you can do so by pressing Control-Alt-Shift-C.
Unit price C1. 500 C2. C3.
All right, now I'm on C3. Now we want to type in the price for the phone. So in this case, let's type in $350.
Edit sub. 50. Cell C3 set to 350. C4. Section. Grouping.
We should be on the tablet row, but we're not quite sure again. Let's press Control-Alt-Shift-R.
Tablet of 4. 3B4. C4.
And we are. So let's go ahead and type in a unit price for tablets. Let's use $200.
0 0. Cell C4 set to 200. C5. Section. Grouping.
Now let's review the unit prices. I'm going to do an up arrow,
200 C4.
up arrow,
350 C3.
up arrow,
500 C2. Unit price C1.
and I did one more up arrow. Now let's go right arrow to go to the total column,
Total D1.
down arrow.
D2.
Instead of us typing in the total price, let's let the computer do the calculation. So I'm going to type in the formula. You first indicate that you want to do a formula by pressing the equal sign.
Formula mode on. Use the arrow keys to select a range. Edit submenu. Blank.
At this point, you've got a couple of different ways to do the formula. You can type in the cell coordinates yourself, or you can use the arrow keys to get the cell coordinates. So I'm going to do a left arrow 2 times because I happen to know 2 columns to the left is where the quantity is.
Blank. Blank. Cell B2 selected.
Now I'm going to press the multiply sign, and I want to multiply by the unit price, which I know is 1 cell to the left. So now I'm going to do left arrow 1 time.
Blank. Cell C2 selected.
Now I'm going to press enter to accept this formula.
D2 set 2 equals B2 start C2 B3. Section. Grouping.
Now I'm going to do an up arrow to review.
500 D2.
Great. Now it's set to $500 for me. So instead of doing that for each of the 2 other rows, we can do a simple copy and paste of this formula. Now I'm going to do a Control-C as in copy. The formula is now on a clipboard. I'm going to do a down arrow to the next row.
D3.
I'm going to do a Control-V as in Victor to paste it in.
Paste it into cell B3.
I'm going to do a down arrow, then an up arrow to review.
D4 700 D3.
Great, it did the calculation for us. Now I'm going to go down to D4.
D4.
And paste in the formula again.
Paste it into cell D4.
Down arrow and up arrow to review.
D5, 600 D4.
Great, now we have the total price calculated for all 3 rows. Now I want to go down to D5.
D5.
Here it would be nice to have a grand total, so I'm going to enter another formula. In this case, I want to do a sum of D2 through D4. So I'm going to type in equals SUM, left paren.
Edit submenu. Unknown. Orders dash Google Sheets dash Mozilla Firefox left paren private browsing right paren. Unknown. Orders dash Google Sheets dash Mozilla Firefox left paren private browsing right paren. Orders dash Google Sheets. Combo box collapse has autocomplete editable. Blank.
Now I'm going to do an up arrow to go to D4.
Blank. Cell D4 selected.
And now I want to do a shift and up arrow twice, so that way I'll have a range selected from D4 to D2.
Cells 700, cells 500 D2 through 600 D4 selected.
Now I'm going to type a right parentheses and then press enter.
D5 set 2 equals sum left parenti to colon D for right parenti 6. Section. Combo box collapse has autocomplete editable.
Now I'm going to do an up arrow to review.
1800 D5.
Great, it's doing a calculation for us. The totals are actually dollars, and it would be nice to have them formatted as such. Now I'm going to move the focus up to D2.
600, 700, 500 D2.
Now I'm going to press Control Shift down arrow to select all the cells in this row that have content.
Cells 500 D2 through 1800 D5 selected.
Now I'm going to open up the Format menu by pressing Alt Shift O, as in orange.
Format submenu 5 of 10.
Down arrow until I get to number.
Number, hence Emil, submenu 1 of 1.
Right arrow to open up the submenu.
Automatic checked 1 of 2. Menu submenu.
And press the down arrow until I get to the menu item I'm looking for.
Plain text not checked 2 of 2. Number shortcut 1,000 period 12. Not checked 1 of 3. Percent shortcut 10 period 12%. Not checked 2 of 3. Scientific shortcut 1 period 01 E plus 03. Not checked 3 of 3. Financial shortcut left paren 1,000 period 12 right paren. Not checked 1 of 2. Currency shortcut dollars 1,000 period 12. Not checked 2 of 2.
Currency is the menu item I was looking for. Now I'm going to press Enter to accept.
Number format applied. Section. Grouping.
Now I want to do a down arrow to review.
$700 D3.
Now you notice it said $700, which is great. You may recall at the beginning we renamed this spreadsheet to be called Orders. That implies we want to have more than one order. So first, let's rename this spreadsheet tab to be Order 1. You do so by opening up the spreadsheet menu, which is Alt-Shift-S as in spreadsheet.
Toolbar. Sheet 1 menu button expanded submenu. Menu submenu.
Now I'm going to arrow down until I get to Rename.
Toolbar. Sheet 1 menu button expanded submenu. Duplicate to of 8. Copy 2. 3 of 8. Rename. 4 of 8.
Press Enter to activate.
Paragraph editable. Selected sheet 1.
Now let's call this sheet Order 1. So I've typed in Order 1, and I'm going to press Enter.
Order 1. Sheet 1 renamed to Order 1. Section. Grouping.
To check which spreadsheet you're on, you can open up the Spreadsheet tab menu, which is Alt-Shift-K as in key.
Toolbar. All sheets menu button expanded submenu. Menu submenu.
Now I want to do a down arrow.
Toolbar. All sheets menu button expanded submenu. Order 1 checked 1 of 1.
And here it said Order 1 and checked. Let's go ahead and create a second sheet so that we can create an Order 2. To do so, open up the Insert menu with Alt-Shift-I.
Insert submenu 4 of 10.
And then arrow down until you get to Create.
Row, R semi, above 1 of 2. Row, W semi, below 2 of 2. Column, C semi, left 1 of 2. Column right, G semi, 2 of 2. New sheet, S semi, 1 of 1.
New sheet is the menu item we were looking for. Now I'm going to press Enter to insert a new spreadsheet tab.
Section. Grouping.
And let's go ahead and rename this one to be Order 2. To do so, open up the Spreadsheet menu, which is Alt-Shift-S as in Spreadsheet.
Toolbar. Sheet 2 menu button expanded submenu. Menu submenu.
Then arrow down to rename.
Tool, duplicate to, copy to, rename. 4 of 8. Paragraph editable. Selected sheet 2. The 1.
Now I'm going to type in the name order 2 and then press enter.
Rotor 2. Sheet to rename to order 2. Section. Grouping.
And we want the order 2 to be very similar to order 1, so let's go back to order 1, and then we'll copy the contents of order 1 to order 2. So I'm going to press Alt-Shift-K to open up the tabs menu.
Toolbar. All sheets menu button expanded submenu. Menu submenu.
Arrow down until we get to order 1.
Toolbar. All sheets menu button expanded submenu. Order 1 of 2.
Press enter to activate.
Section. Grouping. $600 V4.
All right, now we're back onto order 1. Let's select everything here by pressing Control A as in all.
Cells description 1 through $1,800 V5 selected.
Do a Control C to copy everything to the clipboard. Now let's go to the other tab, which is order 2, by pressing Alt-Shift-K.
Toolbar. All sheets menu button expanded submenu. Menu submenu.
And then arrow down to order 2.
Toolbar. All sheets menu button expanded submenu. Order 1 checked 1 of 2. Order 2 of 2.
Press enter to activate.
Section. Grouping.
We should be in cell A1, but to confirm, let's do a down arrow.
A 2.
Now let's do an up arrow to go back to A1. Let's do a Control V as in Victor to paste in the content.
Paste it into cells 1 through V5. Cells description 1 through V5 selected. Cells description 1 through V5 selected.
In this case, we want this order to be slightly different, so let's go through and just double the quantity by moving the focus to cell B2, which is the quantity for TV.
No more cell. Quantity B1. 1 B2.
And let's type in 2 to replace it.
Edit submenu. Cell B2 set to 2. To B3. Grouping.
Now our focus is on the row with phone, but to confirm, let's press Control-Alt-Shift-R.
Phone to 3. To B3.
And the quantity before was 2, so let's change it to 4.
Edit submenu. Cell B3 set to 4. 3 B4. Grouping.
Now we should be on the row for tablet. Again, let's confirm by pressing Control-Alt-Shift-R.
Tablet of 4. 3 B4.
And the quantity is currently 3. Now let's change it to 6.
Cell B4 set to 6. B5. Grouping.
Now let's arrow over to cell D5 so we can review the grand total.
$3,600 V5.
And before it was $1,800, now it's $3,600, which means it is correctly doubled. Let's create another tab to summarize all the orders. Again, let's insert a tab by pressing Alt-Shift-I to open up the insert menu.
Insert submenu 4 of 10.
Arrow down to New Sheet.
Row, column, right, new sheet, Emil, 1 of 1.
Press Enter to activate.
Section, grouping.
Let's rename this spreadsheet tab to be called Summary. To do so, open up the spreadsheet menu, which is Alt-Shift-S.
Toolbar. Sheet 3 menu button expanded submenu.
Then arrow down to Rename.
Toolbar. Duplicate, copy to, rename. 4 of 8. Paragraph editable. Selected sheet 3.
Type in Summary. And press Enter.
1.
In this spreadsheet tab, we want to have 2 columns. The first one we call Name, and the second one we want to call Total. So let's go ahead and type those in now. I typed in Name. Now I want to press the right arrow.
Cell 1 set to name. B1. Section. Grouping.
I'm going to type in Total. And then press Enter.
Doll. Cell B1 set to total. B2. Section. Grouping.
Now let's go to column A.
A 2.
I did so by pressing the left arrow key. Let's type in the name Order 1. Press Enter.
Rotor 1. Cell A2 set to order 1.
We'll
A 3. Section. Grouping.
Now let's type in Order 2.
Selection removed.
And then Enter.
Cell A3 set to order 2. A 4. Section. Grouping.
I'm going to review what we typed in by pressing up arrow.
Order 2 to 3.
Up arrow again.
Order 1 to 2.
Great. I'm going to right arrow to the total column.
B2.
Here we want to reference a cell in another spreadsheet tab. To do so, you type in equal, the name of the tab, exclamation point, and then the cell coordinates. In this case, I know the grand total in the other spreadsheets is D5. So here, I want to type in equals order 1, exclamation point, D5.
Formula. Or 1. D5. B to set 2 equals order 1 D5 D3. Section. Combo box collapse has autocomplete editable. Blank.
Now let's review it by doing an up arrow.
Blank. $1,800 B2.
Great, it got the information. Instead of typing all that information in, let's do a copy and paste into the order 2 row by doing Control-C and then Control-V.
Blank. Paste it into cell B3.
In this case, we do want to change some of the formula information, so let's edit this by pressing Enter to go into the edit mode.
Equals order 1 D6.
Now I'm going to do a left arrow.
6.
Left arrow again.
D.
So here we notice that the coordinates is D6. That's because when we copied this, it updates the reference information relative to the cell where you copied it from. In this case, we do want this still to be D5. So I'm going to go ahead and right arrow to go past D6.
6. Blank.
Press backspace to delete the 6.
6.
Type in 5 to replace it. Now I'm going to do a left arrow.
5. D.
Now it's D5 correctly. We also need to change the text of the sheet name from order 1 to be order 2. So again, I'm going to continue to do a left arrow.
Bang.
And I happen to know it's just before the bang. So I'm going to do a backspace to delete the 1.
1.
Type in 2. Now press Enter.
B3 set 2 equals order 2 D5 B4.
Now I'm going to press an up arrow to review.
$3,600 B3.
Okay, great. It's got the information. Now let's review what we have in the cell. I'm going to do a down arrow.
Order 1 B2.
To a right arrow.
$1,800 B2.
Down arrow.
$3,600 B3.
Left arrow.
Order to the 3.
Great. Now we have a spreadsheet
Order
with 3
to the 3.
tabs. Order 1, Order 2, and then Summary. There are many menus available to you as a user. To reach those, you press Alt-Shift and then a letter. For example, Alt-Shift-F that we used earlier for file, Alt-Shift-I for insert, Alt-Shift-O for format, and there's also an accessibility menu in addition to some other ones. To go open up the accessibility menu, you press Alt-Shift-A.
Accessibility submenu 10 of 10.
Then you can do a down arrow to review what's here. The contents of the accessibility menu may change over time as we make changes to improve the experience. Now I'm going to do a down arrow.
Speak. SML. Submenu 1 of 3.
Down arrow again.
Go to range. GSML 2 of 3.
Down arrow again.
Focus toolbar. SML 3 of 3.
And down arrow again.
Speak. SML. Submenu 1 of 3.
So it wrapped around. So I'm going to do a right arrow.
Speak selection formatting. SML 1 of 9.
So you can also get formatting information. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and press Enter to have the formatting information verbalized to me.
Font black 10 platinum Arial. Background white align left bottom. Section. Grouping.
In addition to the application menu, there's a top toolbar. You reach that by first going to the application menu. For example, press Alt-Shift-F.
File submenu 1 of 10.
Now do a Shift-Tab.
Share. Private to only me. Button.
Continue to do Shift-Tab to go through the top toolbar menu items.
Open comments. Thread left parent shortcut Control plus Alt plus Shift plus A right parent toggle button.
I'm going to press Escape to go back to the spreadsheet grid.
Section. Grouping.
To go to the other toolbar, you again first go to the application menu by pressing Alt-Shift-F.
File submenu 1 of 10.
And then Tab.
Last edit was 4 minutes ago. Every change you make is automatically saved in Drive. Button.
And continue to press Tab to go through the toolbar.
Main toolbar. Print left parent shortcut Control plus P right parent button.
And press Escape. There are many keystrokes available. To get a list of these, you can open up the keyboard shortcut menu by pressing Control /.
Keyboard shortcuts dialog.
And now you will want to exit focus mode by pressing NVDA plus the spacebar.
Keyboard shortcuts. Dialog heading level 2 keyboard shortcuts
I press the Control key to silence the output. Now you can use your up and down arrow keys to review the content of this dialog.
Link view all shortcuts in Help Center button close. Heading level 3 popular keyboard shortcuts. Table with 87 rows and 2 columns. Popular keyboard shortcuts.
I'm just pressing the down arrow to review what's here.
Row 1, column 1, heading, level 3 editing. Column 2. Row 2 editing, column 1 undo. Column 2 Control plus Z.
There, just head to undo, press Control Z.
Row 3 editing, column 1 insert time. Column 2 Control plus Shift plus Emil.
To go back to your spreadsheet grid, press Escape to exit this dialog.
Section. Grouping.
There's additional online information that goes into much more detail on how to use Google Sheets. You can find this a couple different ways. One is to do a Google search for Get Started Google Sheets with a Screen Reader, or you can go to google.com/accessible, and there you will find links to additional resources. Thank you for listening, and I hope you found this recording useful.
This work is licensed under a Creative Commons Attribution 4.0 international license, which can be found at http://creativecommons.org/licenses/by/4.0/. You are free to share, copy, and redistribute this material in any medium or format.